Hello, and welcome to the Pillar to Post Sewer Lateral Inspection. This is for address 9062 West Washburn Place, Denver, Colorado 80227. Today, I am accessing the basement toilet, and we're beginning the inspection looking into the city main. So the purpose of me beginning the inspection looking into the city main is, first thing I like to evaluate on film, what is referred to as your tap. Now your tap is the connection from your 4-inch sewer line leaving the home, connecting us to this big 8-inch main line we're looking at here. It is important to evaluate the tap because even though we're in the city street, the tap and sewer line leading up to it are still the homeowner's responsibility. Now with that said, here's your tap here. It's just the last 4 inches of your service line, and it does appear functional. No signs of fracturing, breaking, or offsetting, and water is flowing through it properly. We are going to begin our travels through the original VCP. This is vitrified clay pipe in use for the main line outside the home. Do want to point out that clay sewer lines, or VCP, typically come in shorter segments of line, generally every 3, 5, or 8 feet between connections. Now the reasoning for this is back in the day, contractors wanted a material that would last a very long time, such as clay, but also in shorter segments, so this way if any ground shifting or expansive soils were to occur, rather than break and separate, these shorter segments of line were created to shift over time to accommodate these expansive soils. This means it will create a minor offset or misalignment at the joints or connections. So typically seeing the lip or face of the next segment of pipe does not indicate damage, more so that the pipe is doing its job and shifting as necessary. Now when these ground shifts occur, it will allow the introduction of root systems such as bush or tree roots to intrude or enter into your sewer line. So seeing a slightly offset joint with the root system present does not indicate damage, more so that the pipe was doing its job and shifting as necessary and a general lack of maintenance. Customer did note that line was previously cleaned on Saturday, and it does appear clean at this time. Now, with that said, I do want to point out that solid discoloration on the left or right side of the pipe. That is what is known as the high water mark, and that just indicates at maximum volume where your sewer water will flow. You typically want to see that high water mark about 40 or 50%, as that is a strong indication water is flowing properly. Fortunately, this one stayed very consistent, about 50%, except staining where previous backups had occurred, and it did appear to be at a joint or connection, so most likely where the roots were intruding at the joint, we'll discuss as we approach. Now, in regards to these clay sewer lines, recommendations for maintaining or treating them properly would be have a professional cleaner out once a year, and generally recommended to have this occur at the beginning of springtime, right after the flowers start flourishing, as this is when root systems tend to like to grow. But having your annual cleaning is important to help maintain proper flow in these sort of drain lines. Now, in regards to professional cleaners, since this is suggested to occur once a year, it's very important to do a little due diligence before hiring any old cleaning company. First things first, we want to avoid the multi-facet companies. Now, these are your clean/repair/inspect, the big box truck companies that tend to love to upsell. And that is exactly my concern, is they'll come to clean your sewer line and use scare tactics to sell you a new one, or at least a kitchen sink along the way. So to avoid that hassle, I generally recommend hiring a professional cleaner only. And when seeking out these professional cleaners only, I strongly advise asking at least 3 questions, which would be, are you insured? Are you certified? And you bring a sewer camera with you. Now, a sewer cleaner that's insured and certified generally means they've been properly trained on the equipment they're operating and are less likely to cause damage, but even if they do cause damage, their insurance would cover it. Most importantly, please verify that your cleaner brings a sewer camera with them. This way they could run the camera before they clean and take note as to where the major buildup is and length of line, so they'll know where to operate their equipment and how long they need to operate it for. But most importantly, even more so important than that, after they're done cleaning, they can run the camera a second time, being able to show proof or verification that they've done their job properly. Asking these questions should help eliminate concerns of quality of service and help you find the right cleaner for you. Average cost somewhere between $100 and $200 a cleaning. Now, I do want to point out that I do measure every joint and connection for dissipation. Simply put, with no water flow, we just had someone flush water from upstairs, but with no water flow, I verify that water is either pooling at the joints or connections or continuously traveling down the line. If I saw even the slightest bit of dissipation, that'd be immediate failure in my book. So no signs of that here today. Now, clay sewer lines very abrasion resistant. We're less likely to scratch, score, cut, or damage this material. And this is what I was indicating about recent backups. We could see the white, that's actually just calcium, but we could see another bits of mineral and bacteria build up at this joiner connection. So this is most likely where the biggest part of the intrusion was, restricting flow and causing the backup that you did have here. And that's just indicated by the staining on the pipe itself. But clay sewer lines are also highly chemical tolerant. So we're less likely to erode or decay the clay sewer line. And clay sewer lines are also very temperature tolerant, so definitely a durable material. Very minimal offsetting in the pipe itself. High water marks seem very consistent, except where recent backups had occurred. And the grading or slope is very consistent as well. So I saw no faults in the original clay. We're about to approach the foundation wall, and this is where we're going to transition from this VCP or vitrified clay to the original cast iron. Now here is part of the boot connection from the clay to cast iron. I didn't see any fault or failure in it currently, but a possible future concern. It is slightly offset, but water is not escaping. I do not see any earth or earthworms present, any soils intruding, or any conflict of that nature. Just something to keep an eye on in the future, absolutely. But as of right now, still deemed functional. So 30 feet 4 inches, this is where we transition to the original cast iron metal underneath the home. Now what you look for in cast iron is the ID or internal diameter of the pipe. It should appear smooth. This one, even with the recent cleaning, is showing heavy amounts of fats, oils, and grease or scaling built up in the pipe. So my main concern for cast iron would be harsh chemicals. Cast iron has some similar features to clay sewer lines in regards to abrasion and temperature tolerance. Very durable materials in that sense. But cast iron does not fare well to harsh chemicals. It can cause erosion, decay, scaling, and failure. So I generally recommend sticking to your common household chemicals. In regards to cast iron, this just means we try to avoid the products that state things such as industrial strength or ultra degreaser. Also products such as Liquid Plumber or Drano, which are actually bogus products. Liquid Plumber and Drano, really good at dissolving hair, really bad about leaving behind a lot of chemical grease. So if you do notice a backup or blockage in your smaller drain lines, I just want to refer you to the maintenance portion of the written report. On there I do list a plethora of very simple do's and don'ts that any homeowner can utilize, and this will just help you maintain your drain line in the future. So as you can see, my camera's having a little bit of a hard time pulling back through this. This is due to the debris that was left behind by the cleaner. Once again, camera after they clean can help verify whether they've left a mess or completely removed all the buildup in the line. Over time, some debris from cast iron will wash out, but typically you do need a professional cleaner to remove this sort of stuff. But once again, for a list of simple do's and don'ts for your drain line health, please do read the maintenance portion of the written report. On there I list a plethora of very simple tips and tricks that any homeowner can follow to help maintain a drain line in the future. Now this is a duplex, but I did not see a tie-in, was not able to verify any connection to the neighboring home, and that would be 9052, I believe. This is a separate main line leaving the home, meaning in the future when it does come time for cleaning, you're going to want to clean both main lines on the same day typically. Now this is the access point utilized here today. Cleaner was just here Saturday, and this is the wax ring they left behind. I will be replacing that with the new wax ring. They also left us some debris over here and some buildup, so I'm just going to make that look a lot better before I leave here today. And with that said, let's just recap. No conflicts found in the functionality of the line. No low sections, no fractures, no breaking. Water was moving appropriately. Most likely cause of backup was a root intrusion and misuse of the drain line. So once again, sincerely, no flushable wipes, baby wipes, feminine hygiene products, nothing bizarre, dental floss, toothbrush, toothpaste, cotton balls, and Q-tips. We just want to maintain proper drain line health. We also want to avoid all the crazy chemicals as much as possible. This is to help maintain the integrity of the original cast iron. But with that said, I'm going to end my video now by saying thank you very much. This concludes our inspection for today.